So good morning, everybody. I'm Mark Lee. I'm from Higher America. We produce the Rhapsody Ibiza. Here in the US, we have what is called DRM, right? And it's called Digital Rights Management. There's two different types of DRM they developed for the US so that we could pay the royalties back to the music industry. And it's called DRM 9 and 10. So when iTunes came out, you had to purchase a song to put it onto the device, right? So that has to deal with DRM 9. Now, the only reason I bring this up to you is to let you know why MP3 players in the US can be a little cumbersome, because sometimes you download a file and it might not work on the player, right? So what a DRM 9 is that you can purchase one song and put it on the player. For DRM 10, which is the next version, is you could do a subscription. You could subscribe for 1 month and you can get unlimited access to all the music on the device. So to let you know that the Rhapsody Ibiza, in terms of audio content, is capable of doing both of these type of digital rights management content. The difference between Rhapsody Ibiza and, let's say, the iPod or the Zune is that it has Wi-Fi access. What Wi-Fi is that if you're in a hotspot, you know how like if you have your laptop and you connect to a hotspot, you can connect to the internet. Well, these devices have that same function right on it. What we like to say is that you can pull millions of songs out of thin air. With the Ibiza, obviously we're calling it Rhapsody, so that you can access all the content that Rhapsody can provide. Well, the brand is Ibiza. Rhapsody is actually an online site, just like iTunes, that sells the music content. They represent the music labels. They own a lot of the rights to the content to distribute, and Rhapsody provides that service. We call it the Rhapsody Ibiza because we are connecting this device to their content. You could purchase per song, right? That's one of their models, just like iTunes. Or you could do the subscription model. You could pay the $14.99 per month fee, and you can have access per month to all their songs. And free from a PC. You don't need a PC to access the device. If you want, right out of the box, you could turn it on, connect it to the Wi-Fi. I'll show you how to do that later when we go more on the hands-on. It's ready to go. On the device itself, we have a touchpad, right, and a couple buttons. So it's just a regular touchpad that you would find on like a laptop. The other unique feature that it has on the device itself is this Wi-Fi indicator button. It'll turn red when you need to connect to a Wi-Fi device, and it'll turn green that it already connected to a Wi-Fi area. What you would do is, when you press this button, it will show you all the wireless networks available that you can connect to. The other buttons that you have on the unit, you have the volume control on the side, and then you have the power button on the side. So the next thing we have is, obviously we have a 30 gigabyte version that can play about 8,000 songs on one device. You have a 4 and 8 gig flash version that could play about 2,000 to 1,000 songs. Now the only difference is this has a physical hard disk drive, and this has a flash memory drive on it. Obviously with flash memory, you can make it a little smaller profile. The actual hard disk one is the only one that has Bluetooth, and this one does not. When I go and select on music, you can see that there's many different ways that you can search your music, whether through a playlist, through songs, through the artists, through different genres. When you click on a particular song, we actually show the album art, but you can see like after when you hold down the button, you can actually search the same artist if you have other music content on there. So when you're connected to Wi-Fi, you can see that it has these channels here. It says Rhapsody and Rhapsody Channel. The Rhapsody and Rhapsody Channel buttons will access Rhapsody automatically, but you can see all the list, all the content on Rhapsody wirelessly, and you can connect to any of that type of music. And while you're listening to it, you could download it onto the device itself. The other thing that these devices will do is it will play video content. Multiple types of video content, and what you got to do is you use Windows Media Player to what they call transcode to make sure that the file size is right for the actual device itself. The next thing that we have is the podcast. You can subscribe to a podcast and you can get information pushed onto the item. The best example I like to give is like, let's say Wall Street Journal, and you want to read like the top articles on the Wall Street Journal. You could subscribe to their podcast, and when you have a Wi-Fi connection, it'll download the latest news. But when you try to add a podcast, you can go by these different type of categories, and you can search the podcast you want. You can automatically subscribe right on the device itself, instead of doing it through your laptop and converting it over. just go ahead and go here, add the new podcast automatically onto the device itself when you have a Wi-Fi connection. The other things we talked briefly about was the air skins. You could just change how it looks. Here we have examples of Knicks, different types of profiles. Hire America does have a big partnership with the NBA, so you can find a lot of different sports teams there. But you could change the skin just tailored onto the device itself to change the look and make it look a little more pleasing to you to use. So all the photos that you need, you can also download here onto the device itself. You can also hook it up to your online photo sites, Flickr or Picasa. You have to manually hook those up, and you can actually access those photos onto the device when you have a Wi-Fi connection. And then it also has FM radio, but with FM radio, you need the headphones on. The headphone is the antenna for FM radio. And we have examples of what they sell downstairs of a stereo Bluetooth headset that you can connect to this device, and you don't need a headphone. You can actually keep this in your pocketbook or in your book bag, and you can actually listen through a Bluetooth headset itself. So it does have internet browser capabilities, and you can access through there, and it has some sites already set onto the device itself that you can access, or you can manually put in the site itself. Right now in the market, we have 3 different versions of the Rhapsody Ibiza. We have a hard disk version right now at 30 gigabyte, and then we also have a 4 gigabyte and 8 gigabyte flash version, which is a little smaller profile. Right, and these are available here at JNR that you can buy right after this lesson if you like.